Welcome back, everybody, where we're talking about buying, selling, and everything real estate related and how it affects you. Have you been watching the news lately and seeing all of the news media coverage saying that there's a growing number of homeowners who have negative equity in their home? Stick around and we're going to dive into that just a little bit. Hello again, everybody. Jason Veenstra here with the Veenstra Real Estate Team brokered by eXp. And I have been noticing that there's been a growing number of news media outlets that are covering the real estate market and saying that there's a growing number of homeowners who have negative equity in their homes. And that seems a little surprising given the sharp increase that we had over the last few years in home prices and all the extra equity that it gave to homeowners. So I wanted to dive into that and figure out where this information was coming from. Well, it turns out a lot of the coverage is coming from a Black Knight article that stated this: of all homes purchased with a mortgage in 2022, 8% are now at least marginally underwater, and nearly 40% have less than 10% equity stakes in their home. So let's unpack that a little bit and try to get a bigger picture of what's going on here. If you read that carefully, it says of all the mortgages for homeowners that were taken out in 2022, a lot of the time in the coverage that I'm seeing in the news media, they're leaving out that very specific year of 2022. As you know, last year was an incredible year for home price appreciation. We saw some very dramatic increases in home prices that started to taper off around April, May, June of this past year. They started to increase at a much slower rate until about November and December of last year, when we did see it peak and it start to create a downturn. So it's very easy to look at a very small segment, a very small time period, and say that there's negative equity during that time period, but that's not what I'm seeing in the media. They're forgetting to say that it's for only homeowners in 2022 that purchased. Another one of the things that I've noticed in the media is that they're not really defining what a marginally underwater homeowner is. 8% are marginally underwater, but there's no real definition as to what that is. It does say that 40% have less than a 10% stake in their home, but that makes sense. If you purchased your home in 2022 at or near the peak of the market, and it's starting to downturn, of course you're going to have some negative equity in that very short term. If you're only comparing a few months, that makes sense. But what we all know is that real estate is the long-term investment. This is not something that you should be doing on the short term for most people. Typically, historically, it would take 3 to 5 years of home price appreciation and paying down your mortgage before you would even break even on selling your home because of the costs involved in selling. So if you're only looking at a very short time period, 12 months or less, and we saw a peak of the market with a slight downturn in the last couple of months, it makes sense that we're seeing people who are slightly or marginally underwater. For those of you who maybe did purchase in the last year and are looking to sell, please reach out. I've spoken to a number of people, and we have houses going on the market with clients that have similar situations, and there are things that can be done. So please feel free to reach out. We'd love to have a conversation with you. You can call at 269-350-5514, or you can email us at sold@veenstrateam.com. As always, there's a lot of information that we have to look at, and there's more to it than what we see in one source or in one news coverage. As always, stay safe and have a great day.